What's going on, guys? Thanks for coming back for part 3. We're going to install this sport light bar on this 2020 Colorado. And yeah, this is part 3. Part 1 did the Bison grill, came out great. And then part 2 showed you how to put on the OEM fender flares. All right, so as you can tell, I didn't put them on that side yet because I need to get in there. Today we're going to be tackling the sport bar with the third brake light, and I don't have the light kit, but I'll kind of explain how all that works and how the wiring works and how to get that to work. And there's a couple different ways to get the third brake light to work. There's pretty much like 3 ways to make it work, so it's actually not going to be too bad. Inside the box, I'll kind of show you what we got. We got the wiring harness and a bunch of zip ties, got some brackets, got some more brackets, got some pads for the sport bar, and got some grommets. You're going to need a 13mm socket. It's a T30, okay, and you're going to need a 5/32 hex, okay. So I'm using electric ratchet. It's gonna make things a lot quicker, but yeah, to install it, it's actually pretty darn simple. But at first I want to kind of show you what you're working with here as far as the wiring goes on this thing. So if you go ahead and pull out the third brake light, I'm going to show you what's back there, because a lot of people are going to want to put the optional light kit from GM in also. So I'll show you what it looks like if you haven't bought it yet, and the way it kind of works. So if you pull the brake light out, pull the harnesses out, it actually has a harness for the light kit that mounts here and here, okay. And with that light kit, it'll come with a harness that goes down in here, down into here, comes over here, and it wires off, and it plugs right into there, okay. So if we look, we have a ground and then brown, okay. That brown wire is the wire that controls or powers the lights, okay. And if you look at the third brake light, we have ground and purple. Purple is our brake lamp, okay. So we come over to this harness here, okay. It's basically this wire runs through here into this tube, okay. It goes down, comes back around. This is how it's shipped, okay. You have purple, black, and brown. Purple's the brake light, ground, and then you have the power for the lights. So you already have all this ran through here. So if you're gonna do some aftermarket stuff, it's already in the bar, okay. You just got to go here, okay. So you don't have to run your own wire through this bar and all that crap like that, unless you're worried about how thick the wire is, which you really shouldn't. At least I don't think you should, okay. So just wanted to share that with you real quick. All right, step 1, we're gonna put these pads on the bar, okay. They go on the feet of the bar. Super easy, it's just a bunch of stickers pretty much, okay. Can't really mess this up. Okay, you can kind of tell where they're supposed to go. This one is for the wires. You can kind of see it like that, okay. This one goes on this side. Wires, pad, pad. All right, so in the bed of the truck, we're gonna need to cut out this plug, okay, and then right over here, okay, you're gonna need to pull out the plug that's right here, okay, and just get yourself a razor blade, it's nice and sharp, and this stuff actually cuts pretty simple, pretty easy. It's not hard or anything, so just kind of cut that guy out. All right, there we go, comes right out. No problem. All right. And we're gonna get this bracket here, and we're gonna put it down in there. Big washer. Okay. Just goes down there like that. And we're gonna tighten this up, but we're gonna leave it loose enough to be able to adjust this way. Okay. So it's not tight all the way. Then all we have to do is go and get the sports bar and drop it in here. All right, so I'm just gonna get the wire and I'm gonna feed it down that way. All right, so GM says they want you to pull this out and then you can run the cable down and get down and around everything like that. But I really don't want to take this apart because it's not really bolted in, it's kind of clipped in. And once you kind of rip it out, it pretty much will never go back as tight as it was in here right now because it's nice and tight and everything like that. So the last thing I want to do is make this loose, especially because I'm going to be using it, like I'm putting fuel in it and stuff like that. I don't want to loosen this up at all. So I'm just going to keep jacking with this wire until I can get it past it, because all this is kind of in the way. And if you look down in there, you can get the cable past it. You're just going to have to be patient and get it and work it up and down until you get it past it and around it. Okay, you can kind of hear the plug down there dancing around. You can get it. It's just going to take, it might take a minute. All right, so underneath the truck, I've been jacking with it up and down. Not really too bad, but if you look, it's kind of hard to see because it's kind of dark, but the plug has already come down. It's like right there. I just need to grab it. And so what I'm going to end up doing is zip tying on the outside of the frame while I'm going to follow some of this wiring, but I'm going to route it as far as I can, okay, along with that other harness right there, factory harness. All right, I'll get to the wiring here in a little while. Went ahead and moved the bar over. All right, so right here, what you're gonna do with the cable, it had that slit in it right here. You're gonna run the cable in that slit, okay? So we're trying to stuff it in there. So you get it in between these two guys right here, okay? That's where you kind of want it. All right, that's what that slit is for in the gasket. All right, put it back down. And then we'll put these aluminum brackets on. You just go under the rail. Then you get these guys here. Put them in. I'm gonna snug these guys up a little bit. I'm gonna leave the bottom ones loose. Put all the hardware in the front. The other side before we tighten anything down, sure everything's straight. Okay, we're gonna leave that loose like that. The way it works is you tighten it down, it brings this clamp up, and clamps it all together. And right here, you're gonna end up using your Torx. Right here, you're gonna use your T30s right here in that bracket there, and then we're gonna tighten this guy up. Here, tighten this guy up. All right, so we got actually two harnesses here. We have one body cable harness, which is going to run this way along the outside of the frame. If you look, it has zip ties and everything for you. And this is the one that you're going to have to wire into the fuse box. Okay. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So there's a harness right here. I'm just going to follow it. That's the smartest thing to do, I guess. I'm going to go and plug this in now. It does have a safety lock on it, like that. Yeah. The fun part, hopefully your truck's not dirty. This one's brand new, so there's no dirt under here. Pretty cool. No dirt in my eyes. Above the body mount here. Follow this harness all the way. To go through the fender liner. So what I want to do is I want to get the wire ran and everything connected before I button this up and zip tie it. So I can make it look clean later on. So my harness is down there. I'll take it. I'm gonna run it up this way. I'm gonna feed it in here, and then I'll deal with it under the hood. So we're going to be wiring into this fuse box right here. Okay, what we're going to do is take the cover off of it right now. Okay, I need to feed that harness up this way. But I'm going to stop here. I'm going to talk about one of the ways you can wire up this third brake light. And one of the ways is you can actually, at this point here, cut this wire, or you can use this cable. Instead of running it all the way to the front, you're going to want to run it inside the cab, okay? And you're going to have to find a way to get in through a grommet under the floor, okay? But you're going to take apart some of this right here, and run it all the way up here, and run it up the third brake light wire. Unless you can find it somewhere in this kick panel and tap it in that way. That's one way of doing it. That's the way GM does not say to do it. It's your own way of doing it, okay? So, and then you just unplug the third brake light so it doesn't go off anymore, you know, your old one, and then you have your new one, okay? Then grab that harness. You want to keep it away from the steering shaft. Drop this guy. Around anything that is caught on. Okay, next step is going to be disconnect the negative battery terminal. Okay, this is going to be a 10mm right here. Loosen that up. And shake this hater off, okay. Alright, now we're going to go to the fuse box here. You have these 3 tins here. We're going to loosen these up. They will not come off, but this will allow me to pull the fuse box up, get to the connector that's underneath this thing. Now when you do this, you have to be really careful. Once you get it unclipped, just pull up on it. Okay. What these tins do is they actually unplug the plugs. So we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to do this, unplug everything to be able to fold it over. Excited, you see these plugs, how that I came unplugged. Okay. Plugged. And unplugged. It's gonna be a lot of fun to put back, I'm telling you. Now it's not done all the way. Couple little wiggles. Okay, there we go. Now we can just move this out of the way. Don't need a jack with that. I don't jack with it too much. But yeah, if you look back here, you don't want to mess this up. There's a bunch of pins. Don't want to bend those up. But this is the harness we're going after right here. Okay. And the wire we're actually going to re-tap is this one right here, this purple one. So before I was talking about there's 2 ways of hooking this, or 3 ways I'm going to show you. I showed you one already. Here's this harness here. Okay, so I can show you. One end there's the ground. We're going to hook it up in the ground on the fender there. This connector is going to go to the wire we ran, which is this thing right here. Okay. Then you have these two wires here. Okay. I'll lay this out a little better. Let's see what I'm looking at here. Okay. So you got this. So here's one of the harnesses. Okay. You got. This is going to go to the harness that we just ran under the car. And we got these 2 pin wires here. We're going to repin, and then the ground. Okay. So these 2 wires that you have here, they're different lengths. Okay. The short one supposedly is for a Silverado, and the long one is for a Colorado. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right here. And one way of doing this is actually to tap into this wire. If you don't want to unpin it, you can tap it or you can cut it. And if you tap it, you got to go take the bulb out of the brake light, the old brake light. And if you tap it or if you cut it, If you don't want to void your warranty or anything like that, you probably don't want to cut it, or you can cut it and wire right into it. Or the way GM wants you to do is they want you to repin this thing, which is what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to run that wire through here and stick it in there and repin it. So to repin this guy, to get the pin out of this guy, GM made it really easy. It has this locking tab on top right here. And all you got to do is get a flathead screwdriver and release it, okay? And pull it right out. And I'll let you pull any one of these pins that you want out, okay? Like this guy here, but we need this guy here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pull that guy out and then push in the new one, which isn't that one, which is this one. Push this one right in there. So there is an up and down, okay? You need to look on the other side to find out which way it needs to go. Okay, and just try not to let any of these other ones fall out. So I'm gonna go on this side. I'm just gonna kind of push on it a little bit. Okay, it can be kind of tricky. Okay, then you can just disconnect the pin right there. I got this guy. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the head of it off because we don't need it anymore. Okay. Get our new one. What I'm going to do is stick it right in there. There we go, and then double check the end to make sure it's all the way pushed out. It's kind of hard to see on this side. Okay, make sure everything's pushed in. Come back over here with the locking tab. Put it in. This thing won't go all the way down unless all the pins are pushed in all the way. Okay, so just make sure you got everything and where it needs to go. Okay, and then I'll just lock it in place. There you go. Push this up there. Okay, and this, you can just choose to leave this. You can tape this up. I'm just going to stuff it down in this area down here. Okay, it's not going to hurt anything. Run the wire up down there. Get the cable back. Okay, and then hook this back up. So got the harness like this. And I'm just gonna cut this one off too. Don't need this one because it's not a Silverado. Run this to the ground. Plug that in there. Make sure the wires aren't touching anything like the steering shaft or anything like that. We can zip tie them that way. Hook this back up. Alright, so I'll peel the liner back. Exposes. So the ground I was talking about, this is the ground I'm going to end up using back here. It's just a 10 millimeter bolt right there. Alright, let's see if this brake light works. Just got done wiring it up. Alright, cool. Works no problem. Yeah, that's 3 ways of wiring up the third brake light. I didn't really go in depth, you know, on how to do the other ways. I showed you pretty much how to do it the OEM way. And yeah, the sports bar looks pretty good. Definitely makes the truck look a little tougher. Fender flares look good, and definitely the Bison grill makes it look really good. Can't wait to get the wheels on this thing, and then it'll really transform. Well, that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I really appreciate you guys checking it out. If you have any questions, just leave them down in the comment box below. And check out the links in the description. I'll have some links down there for, you know, some of the tools I used and some of the parts on this truck. So check that out. And if you liked the video, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. You guys take care. Safe. Have a great weekend. Later.